Greg Troutwine, and we're very pleased to be joined today by Ben Kinnaman of Greensea to discuss the company you founded, its recent growth, and its most recent news, its restructuring and renaming to Greensea IQ. Ben, we've known each other for quite a while now, and you've grown the Greensea brand quite mightily, particularly over the last few years. To start us off, can you give us a look inside the company that you founded, a by the numbers look at Greensea IQ today?
Yeah, sure. I'll start off with a little bit of background. And again, I appreciate the opportunity to chat with you on this. It's a big rollout for us. You know, it's a 17-year-old brand. It's successful in the industry. It's well known. It carries along with it two other companies. And I can't think of a better platform to make this announcement and rollout on. So I appreciate the opportunity. So a little bit, just in background, I founded Greensea in 2006. So Greensea is it's coming on a 17-year-old company. The first, I founded Greensea with this concept of developing an open architecture software environment that would enable, that would help propel the industry into this coming era of autonomy and perception and intelligence, mining data from the ocean using robotics. And so that's what I set out to do in 2006. For those first 10 years of Greensea, we just really focused on developing that software platform, which is called OpenSea. Today we have thousands of vehicles running on OpenSea. We've got, I think, 35 different manufacturers around the industry running OpenSea. We have defense programs running OpenSea. We have 16 different countries and militaries using OpenSea and OpenSea products. So by really any objective measure, that focus, that goal was successful. But we started after our technical innovation period for those first 10 years. We started commercializing the company in 2017. So those last 5 years or so have been quite successful. We've grown Greensea by about 50% each year. COVID year was a little bit of a miss for us. We turned the company profitable not long after commercialization. We adopted a very focused strategy that we just lived and died by. That was really focused on generating long-term value for the company, good, solid technical value for our partners, developing products, software products, and a software platform that our government and commercial users could move into the future of ocean work on. So Greensea was quite successful. We grew the company to probably 60-ish employees in 3 different locations as of the beginning of this year, 2023. Along the way, I founded 2 other companies that were spinoffs of Greensea. The first is a company called Armach Robotics. You and I have spoken about Armach in the past. Armach was a spinoff of Greensea, and it commercialized a navigation technology based on OpenSea that Greensea developed, particularly for utilizing small autonomous vehicles to proactively clean ships. So to remove the slime layer of biofouling before macrofouling. We founded Armach Robotics in 2021 to go to market with a subscription-based product called Everclean for the maritime transportation industry. And I did that through Armach because like I said before, we have a strategy in Greensea that we just live and die with. And building a fleet of robots and a centralized operations center in Plymouth, Massachusetts that operated these robots around the world and focused on a subscription business model for clean hulls didn't fit in with Greensea. So we founded this new company called Armach in 2021, put it on a 2-year build it, prove it growth plan, and then transitioning into scaling the company at the end of this year, end of Q4 of 2023. We also founded another company called Bayonet Ocean Vehicles in early 2022. Bayonet Ocean Vehicles acquired a product line from a company in the US that had developed a prototype of a seafloor crawling robot. Bayonet Ocean Vehicles commercialized this prototype in 3 variants and moved that product line into a defense offering as well as a robot as a service offering for coastal monitoring and survey. So as we came into the beginning of 2023, we had 3 companies. Greensea had been growing consistently over 50% for most of the last 5 years, profitable, good solid projections ahead of us. Armach and Bayonet reached doubling. They each are largely uncontested in large markets. So by the numbers, that's how we came into 2023.
As of today, everything is going to be under the Greensea IQ now. Quite simply, why now? What was the impetus to consolidate the companies?
And the answer is very simple. It's to create a greater impact. As I just mentioned, we have 3 very successful companies. We have 1 mature company growing 50% a year. It's profitable, several US government programs of record, serving 16 militaries around the world, 35, almost 40 manufacturers worldwide. Successful, mature company. We have these 2 other companies. They're doubling each year. They're largely uncontested. They have patented technology, moated market penetration. So by all measures, as a CEO, I was meeting expectations. I was living and dying by P&L, my balance sheet. That's how I run the companies. I think success in general and for a company is a lot more broad than the P&L and the balance sheet. We had amassed within these 3 companies, we had amassed an amazing set of resources. Some of the world's experts in ocean robotics and ocean data were working in these 3 companies. We have mature technology, we have mature robots, we have a significant potential. And I think, Greg, that's what really struck me. It's just a significant potential. So I had the opportunity to go to my board and say, hey, we've got these 3 super successful companies and a rock solid strategy that's guaranteed to deliver significant enterprise value over the next, however long we want to look at it, 5 or 10 years, whatever. But I want to throw out that strategy. I want to scrap it all. I want to combine these 3 companies and I want to move forward with a new strategy. And I'm privileged that they back me 100%. So what this is about is it's about opportunity. It's about creating a higher impact. It's about answering a higher call. So as a CEO, I was meeting my expectations, but I felt as a human, I was not. Because with the resources of Greensea, Armach, and Bayonet, my potential was immense. Nothing short of world changing, I can say. So merging these companies is about doing just that. Merging these companies is about focusing these resources to create greater impact for our employees, our investors, the world. And while I will still drive a strong P&L, I will also leave my children and ocean and world in better shape than what I inherited from my parents. And that is the goal of what we're doing with Greensea IQ.
I can surmise the name change, Greensea IQ. I can surmise what that means, but from you, what specifically are you looking to convey to the market with Greensea IQ?
Well, IQ represents intelligence, and the rebrand of Greensea to Greensea IQ represents a strategic shift to a higher impact company that's powered by intelligence, particularly data from the ocean, analyzed and processed to deliver intelligence about how to work in the ocean and interpret what the ocean's given them. For the last 17 years, Greensea has been an industry leader for edge computing software solutions, including technologies for autonomy, perception, data collection, human machine intervention. As we shift to a strategy for higher impact, we'll not only focus on collecting that data, but processing the data, analyzing the data, and using that data to inform how we work and understand the ocean. So as we shift into this new strategy, Greensea IQ will use our technology and the intelligence it enables to extend our presence into the ocean so that our work there can be persistent, safe, efficient, and for the protection of ocean and humankind. So the tag of IQ behind Greensea represents a higher impact. It represents a company driven and motivated by intelligence to move not just from edge processing and computing to data collection, but all the way to the human that is making action and making decisions and trying to understand the ocean.
So materially, as you go from 3 companies to 1 company, in terms of product lineup, in terms of engineering, in terms of support, what stays the same? What changes?
Yeah, so great question. So now, with the combination of the 3 companies, Greensea IQ is, well, our 90th employee just started. So we're 90 people strong, and we have 4 facilities. We have a facility, our headquarters remain in Richmond, Vermont. We have a facility in San Diego, California. We have a research facility and the center of our EverClean service product in Florida. Then we have a large production and engineering facility in Plymouth, Massachusetts. So while the facilities themselves will materially stay the same, I think structurally and functionally, we'll see some changes in those facilities. We've just invested several million in our Plymouth, Massachusetts facility to build a state-of-the-art production line and production facility for ocean robots. This is where our Bayonet product line, our EverClean product line, our product line for inertial navigation systems, and our product line for swimmer and combat swimmer navigation systems. That's where those product lines will all be based, manufactured, tested, delivered, and serviced from. Plymouth, Massachusetts will also be our operations center for EverClean. EverClean deploys robots in residency on ships all around the world. We have operators in Plymouth that supervise these robots as they clean and maintain ships and collect data and process that data, so that remote operations center, that EverClean operations center, is based in Plymouth. We'll continue to use our San Diego office to support our U.S. Navy and U.S. Marine Corps defense customers. But San Diego will also be the center of our West Coast expansion for EverClean as we move into ports and harbors on the West Coast. We'll continue to use our Florida facility for research, and we'll also expand the Florida facility to service the South Florida, Gulf Coast, and Texas markets for cruise ships. Vermont probably is the only one that remains relatively unchanged, and it will remain our headquarters. So from a product line perspective, from product and technology, we will move into a strategy that is completely focused on higher impact endeavors. We will be focused on using data and intelligence, software, autonomous robotics to make big change in the world. It is difficult to be a high impact organization and continue low impact business segments. So there are some business segments that have been traditional to Greensea over the last 5 years that we will begin divesting over the rest of 2023. We will continue all of our products. We are not divesting of any products. So OpenSea remains the technology that fuels the company and the enterprise. EUD workspace, Armach, and those associated products will remain intact and growing strong. We continue to invest significantly in our Bayonet ocean vehicle product line, as well as our Everclean service and our Everclean robots for maintaining the ships.
But can you discuss the tangible growth that you expect from Greensea IQ in the coming 12 to 24 months?
Sure. So Greensea, powered by the strategy that we adopted in 2018, realized significant growth year to year. Over 50% growth for most years over the last 5 years. The strategy that we adopted in 2018 was very focused on long-term enterprise value and organization. It brought the company profitable a number of years ago, and we realized strong growth out of that. So when we began this merger, Greensea had projections for another 53% growth year and strong profitability. Armach and Bayonet were younger companies when we began the merger, but Armach was 2 years into its plan to build a prove it phase, and it was doubling year to year, and we had forecast about a 3x growth this year for Armach. Bayonet was on a very similar trajectory. Bayonet was growing strong, and both Bayonet and Armach are in industries that have exceptional growth potential, and they offer products and services that are largely uncontested in those markets. So individually, each of the companies had strong finances, they had strong P&Ls, and as we merge the three companies and we unite the three companies, the product lines, the employees under a single comprehensive focused strategy, there will be some adjustment in our business segments and our business execution this year. So I am forecasting a 35% growth for the combined entity this year, with a 50% growth again beginning in 2024 and extending out into the foreseeable number of years beyond that. So the combined entity will have positive EBITDA early next year as we launch Everclean in its full, worldwide scaling configuration in Q4 of 2022.
Keeping on that revenue acceleration, that growth thread, when you look at the markets you serve, where do you see the best opportunity for that growth in the coming 12 to 24 months?
Yeah, so my design for this strategy of the company, the combined company, Greensea IQ, my design for this strategy considers not only enterprise growth, but also high impact. And so this is a combined strategy with several values that are at play here. So not only financial values, enterprise value for our investors, but also quality of life, sense of purpose for our employees, and creating a meaningful impact in the world. So because of that, we're targeting 5 distinct markets within our industry. We continue in defense. Greensea is a significant provider for autonomy solutions for EOD and MCM, as well as special operations. We're continuing in those focus areas, those products, we're continuing to expand those programs. Those are currently very profitable business segments for us. And individually, they're forecasting each about a 40% growth for the coming 2 to 3 years. So that represents for us good short-term profit, revenue, and growth. So we're continuing in our defense market. We're also moving into UXO. UXO has been an area of interest and concern worldwide for decades, but there's really not been a viable solution, a viable and safe solution to mitigate UXO, to really confront this threat. So with our Bayonet product line, our C4 crawling vehicle product line, combined with our autonomy and over-the-horizon communication solutions, We have the potential to field a platform that is both economically viable and safe for UXO detection and remediation. And this is a huge growth opportunity for the company. So we're already seeing early growth in that market for Q3 and Q4 of 2023. Next year and the following year, we're seeing significant contracts on the horizon for robot as a service for worldwide UXO remediation. So that's the second segment that we're really focused on for broad growth. The third is offshore renewables. As we address renewable energy from the ocean, we have to adopt a different service model. The service model and the methodologies that we created through oil and gas and big offshore energy, it just doesn't work financially with renewables. So we've got to have a different concept for installation, service, and maintenance. And that is autonomy. That's autonomous vehicles. It's over the horizon workforce. And Greensea has all of the technology to make that possible, as well as production facilities to field material solutions into that industry. So the third business segment that we're really focused on is offshore renewables for maintenance and installation. The fourth is not necessarily a financial growth area for us. Like I said, our strategy is a combination of value representing both financial as well as high impact value. So our fourth segment is science. Greensea has been a major provider for science worldwide, even before we began commercialization. But as we move into this new strategy and as we focus on using intelligence and data to create a higher impact, there is no way we cannot focus on science. There's no way we cannot propel that industry. We have the potential to offer that community an open architecture platform that can unite the community to create a sense of scale and economy that will allow scientists and research organizations worldwide to achieve more with less, and to really move forward as we try to understand climate change and the impact of climate change on the world's ocean. So we will be focusing very significantly on science. That represents our fourth major business area. Our fifth business area is maritime transportation performance. So this is on the back of the business plan that we launched Armach to focus on in 2021. So we will use our autonomous Everclean robots deployed in residency and in ports and harbors around the world to keep ships clean. These small little robots have lightweight brushes, very soft brushes. They crawl around the ships and they remove slime and the protein layer before that can develop into macropod. In doing so, we keep ships clean. We help ships achieve significant performance gains while minimizing the cost of fuel, up to 20% in some cases, as well as minimize carbon emissions. It is one of the most profound impacts we can have on the earth in general and on the ocean in general, just keeping ships clean. And we can do so in a non-toxic, non-invasive manner with autonomous robots deployed on the ships worldwide, operated from our facility. So that fifth business segment, the maritime transportation performance segment, it represents significant growth for the company. We're already growing that segment significantly this year, and again next year. So from the last 2 quarters of 2023, we will field more than 12 new robots to the field. We'll have almost 30 ships in service. And as we go into 2024, we begin scaling that segment pretty significantly worldwide.
What technology do you see, either existing and available or currently under development, that you think will have the biggest impacts on the products and services that Greensea IQ delivers? and why?
I don't think any company has technology and software in more ocean vehicles than Greensea does. Thousands over the last several years, or last 17 years. And so many manufacturers, so many organizations deployed around the world in so many different formats and segments and sectors of the industry. And as we advance our own product lines, and as we advance our own business segments in maritime transportation, UXO, and defense, and science, we continue to increase that footprint. So the biggest impact, the biggest opportunity I think that we have is the harvesting of the data from all of those vehicles into intelligence, into actionable intelligence. The first major step that we're making towards that is we are launching a platform in October of this year called Marine IQ. This is an intelligence platform that is cloud-based. It's available to any of our subscribers for our Everclean service, and it enables them to manage and visualize and make actionable decisions based on the data coming off their hull as harvested by our autonomous robots. And this is a huge example, I think, a very material and concrete example of not just data, but intelligence. And harvesting that data and processing it and providing it to customers in a way that they can make decisions, that's useful. I'm not so sure how useful just raw data is, but intelligence is useful. Intelligence makes an impact. So we will launch our first intelligence product in October of this year, beginning of Q4 of 2023. And I think that as we look forward, the single biggest impact the single biggest impact any of our products or technologies will make in our strategy and our portfolio is our intelligence platforms.
I'm sure there's been a lot going on. Obviously, this rebrand is, I'm sure, taking up a lot of energy, a lot of time, and it'll be exciting to see how it develops in the coming year and years, in fact. But when you look back at the past year, is there one project that you can point to in your mind that best embodies the cumulative Greensea IQ offering to the global maritime and subsea markets?
Yeah, I think there is, Greg. Looking back over the past year, for sure. Going all the way back to 2012, maybe even a little before that, I heard this phrase, and it's become a bit of a cliche now, but I heard this phrase back in 2012 called "get the man out of the minefield," and it was a profound concept because one of the most awful aspects of warfare is the concept of subsea mining. When we putting mines beneath the surface of the ocean to indiscriminately kill, and then they just stay there forever and ever and ever. Now, our warfare, our defense practices for mine countermeasures have changed little since World War II. We still use swimmers. And so in 2012, when I heard this concept, get the man out of the minefield, it implied a big concept. It implied getting those swimmers out of the water in favor of robotics. And not just that, but because it wasn't get the swimmer out of the minefield, it was get the man out of the minefield. So not just remove the swimmer, but get all humans out of the threat zone. So that means not only using robots, but using robots autonomously controlled from over the horizon so that we don't have human assets and collateral at the point of the threat. And so I was really taken back by that concept in 2012. We started developing some technology back then, and then commercialized it in 2018 as a product called EOD Workspace. This is a software platform for autonomy in robots that are used in the neutralization phase of mine countermeasures. So localizing a threat, detecting it, identifying it, and ultimately neutralizing. So we fielded EOD workspace in 2018 through several different robot partners, and this was a supervised autonomy platform for ROVs. It enabled a lot of pilot assist, but largely, it was still a conventional deployment of a human operating a robot out of a boat near the threat. Over this past year, we demonstrated a unmanned, untethered, autonomous system for EOD and mine countermeasures and neutralization. And that system can be operated over the horizon using a technology developed in OpenSea called SAFE-C2, Safe Command and Control. It enables an operator anywhere in the world to operate and supervise a robot in mine countermeasures and EOD detection and localization and neutralization concepts. So we demonstrated that earlier this year, U.S. Navy, very successfully. We continue in those deployments now. And I think that's what I'm most proud of, because it represents so many technologies within Greensea's portfolio, our autonomy, our navigation, our over-the-horizon command and control. But it also represents the use of intelligence to enable humans to make informed decisions on the data that are being collected by our robots deployed in the ocean without those humans having to be there. It represents, I think, everything that the future of ocean work is pointing to and providing this potential. So I think of all of the things that we've accomplished over the last 12 months, those demonstrations and that technology and the technology that we're now deploying and shipping to the U.S. Navy and U.S. Marine Corps, that's what I'm most proud of.